it was now 6 in the morning the next day. We slept in the car, obviously, because we didn't have a tent. Another thing that we don't have is sleeping bags or a blanket, which we planned and we knew that tonight was going to be a cold night, and it was, and it sucked. When we get a blanket or when we get down off the mountain, I'm going to be that much more appreciative of having a blanket. So we're back at Mount Mitchell Lookout to check out the sunrise. As grumpy as I am, it's totally worth it. Today we should be hiking along this ridge line. Of course, is going to focus on my hand. It's 9 miles round trip, but I don't know if I'm going to do 9 miles. Now I say I might not do the 9 miles only because it's a ridge line, and if we start descending into the trees and you can't see anything, it's not worthwhile for me. So we'll go as long as we feel like it and then turn around when need be. As you can see, it is way later in the day. We essentially got back from the trail. We got in the car and we made our way to Asheville. We did some errands and got to the campsite and just vegged. Just had a nice chill evening. About the trail, I only complained maybe 80% of the time. It was not my favorite hike. There was a lot of like up and down and in the trees, and obviously coming from, you know, the Pacific Northwest, when I hear a ridge trail, I immediately think alpine and clear and you can see everything, but it's not the Pacific Northwest, and my expectations were just a little bit too big. I should have done just a little bit more research. It was a really good workout, but that's really about it. So if you go to Mount Mitchell, only go to Big Tom. It's one of the peaks there. Once you go past Big Tom, there's not a whole lot of viewpoints unless you're doing a multi-day hike, which there is an option to do so. Tomorrow we are going to be exploring Asheville. Sort of decided to come here last minute and do a few things last minute without any really plan. So I am really excited to explore this place. Lots of people have said it's a place to come to if you're ever in Atlanta and have the time to go to Asheville. So I cannot wait to see what Asheville has to offer.
A few moments later.
Unlike last night when we didn't have a blanket, I would just like to preface again, we decided to suffer through a couple nights without a blanket. Turns out we couldn't even suffer through one. Fair enough, we were on the top of a mountain where it got really, really cold really quickly. So we went out and bought a blanket from Target. Thank you. Hilariously enough, now that we're off the mountain and in the city, I don't think we need the blanket anymore. But hey, I got a new blanket, so here we are. Today I am in Asheville, North Carolina, and we are exploring the River Market. Now this place, I was just on the to-do list and I showed up and it has blown me away. Let me show you. into voiceover because lovely me is having more sound mic problems. Basically what I'm going over is how phenomenal the River Arts District is. There is so much to see and so much art. Obviously, it's called the River Arts District, so it's not just a bunch of graffiti on some walls, but there are also many stores for local artists to sell their wares. What I loved about the stores is that they had different stores for different niches. So there was the glass blowing store, and there was the wood art store, and there was the pottery store. Depending on what your style is, there was a store for you. Even though we didn't have much planned, this was probably the best thing that we did, and I highly recommend it if you find yourself in Asheville. Once we got back to the car, we were making our way to the Rich Mountain Fire Tower, where we hopefully will be staying the night. If we get there in time before anyone else shows up, we're going to claim the tower to ourselves. Here is me again with more sound issues, so I'm going to go back into voiceover. We've made it to the Rich Mountain Fire Tower, and we were the first ones there, so we immediately brought our stuff up to claim a spot. You can see we have our bouldering pads here, which we're going to use as our mattress. Thank goodness we have a blanket now, so there should be no problems there. And now that our bed's set up, we're just about to make dinner and watch the sunset. There's so much nightlife. It's so loud. It sounds like they're calling to each other. Chuck. And there you have it. Instant rice, eggs, and veggies. Boom.